Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about two things. We're going to talk about graphing ratio tables and how to describe what we're seeing, and then we're also going to be comparing ratio tables. And by that, we're going to do some graphing of two different things on the same coordinate plane. Okay, so this is going to come out of lesson 1-5. Is that right? Yeah. We're going to call it graphing and comparing ratio tables. And our date is 11/5/18. Okay. So in class today, we kind of reminded ourselves about how to graph ordered pairs. We talked about the first quadrant only. We'll talk about all four quadrants a little bit later. And that the order that the letters or the numbers are written in the ordered pair is the value is x comes first and then the y comes second. So the first number tells us to go right or left from the origin. And from that point, we're going to move up or down depending on the, well, in our case, we're going to go right from the origin and then up on from that point to the y value. And that's just because we're dealing with the first quadrant. But let's go ahead and go through some steps of what we're going to do when we're asked to graph. So number one, we're going to take the ratio table. Take the ratio table and write each ratio as an ordered pair. We're going to take each value from the ratio table and we're going to write each ratio as an ordered pair. Okay, and then obviously, once we've got those ordered pairs, we're going to graph the ordered pairs. Okay, and then what we're going to do is describe the pattern the graph makes. Describble. Oh, wow, that's an interesting word. Describe. Here we go again. Describe the pattern the graph makes. So basically, the big hard part isn't the graphing. It's the interpretation of what the graph is doing. Okay, so that's what we're really going to be focusing in on. And I think I'm going to go to the next page for this one because I'm going to add a picture. So hold on just a second. So here we are, and I don't know why when it took picture, everything was so fuzzy, but obviously you have a nicer copy in your notes. So the table shows Gloria's earnings for 1, 2, and 3 hours. The table also lists this information as ordered pairs, hours, and earnings. So what they want us to do is to graph the ordered pair and then describe the pattern in the graph. So we're going to just by hand draw one out, and then what I'm going to give you guys when you're working on practice tomorrow, I'm going to give you actual first quadrant graphs, and then you guys can decide if you want to use that or do by hand. So in order for me to graph, I'm going to think about the numbers that are in my graph. So my x values go from 1 to 3, and my y values go from 5 to 15. So I think what I'm going to do when I create my graph is I'm just going to count by ones. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now I'm going to label this the y-axis. I'm going to label this the x-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to label every other number, the evens, or what I prefer to do. It looks weird when you start with 1 and then you skip and go to 3. I don't know why, it just looks weird to me. 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So if you notice here, they've gone ahead and they've graphed this for us. Now, the benefit about the graph paper I'm going to give you is all the little lines are in place, so it's going to be really simple to graph this. So we go from 1 to 5. Then we go from the origin to 2, and from 2 up to 10. And we go from 0 to 3 on the x-axis and all the way up to 15 on the y-axis. Okay? So when we're describing in part B what's happening, we're going to be using some words, kind of like a frame like we've done before. So first thing you're going to answer, you're going to say is, the points appear to form a line. Oh, let's try that again. Appear to form a line. Okay, and so the question that we're answering is, what does it look like? So if I were to connect those points, it would look like a line. Okay, I'm going to take that off. And then we're going to describe how you get from one point to the next. So what we're looking at is this kind of motion. I went 1 right. I went from 5, I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. Okay? So I went 1 to 5. I went 1 to 5. Okay? And so second part that I'm going to respond with is each point is 1 to the right and 5 up from the previous point. And again, the question that we're answering is, what do the points do? Or what does 1 point do to get to the next point? So if you think about, in other words, we could say for every hour he works, or she works, she earns $1 or $5. And so that's the last thing that we write. And this means Gloria earns $5 for every hour she works. Okay, and so what we're doing is we're explaining that ratio, that 1 to 5. Explain the ratio. Okay, and so those are the 3 key things we do every time we describe the pattern. First off, we look like, if I connected those points, what shape would it form? Second, explain how I get from the point on the bottom to the point above it, and from that point to the point on top. So each time I'm going to have a consistent pattern. In this case, 1 to the right, 5 up. And then what do the 1 and the 5 mean? For each day that she works, she's going to get $5. And I just realized I forgot something crucial for my graph. What is it? Labels. So we've got hours on the bottom. And we've got, I guess it's per hour, not per day. That'd be kind of pathetic, don't you think? $5 a day. What am I thinking? And then over here is dollars earned. Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is switch gears and talk about, well, what if we have somebody who we're going to compare two people? So hold on for that. So over to the right, I'm going to just write a couple of things for us to note. You can use tables and graphs to compare ratios. Tables and graphs to compare ratios. Okay. And then the greater the ratio, the steeper the line will appear. Okay. And then again, what I mean by steeper means we're approaching vertical. Okay? So those are some things we're going to look for when we're dealing with this example over here. This one's a little bit clearer, but still a teeny bit fuzzy. Okay? All right, so let's start with what's happening in the problem. So two friends are each saving money in their bank accounts. Marcus saves $10 each week, while David earns $15 each week. Make a table for each friend that shows the total amount saved for 1, 2, and 3 and 4 weeks. List the information as ordered pairs, weeks, total, dollars saved. So remember what they're telling us. Weeks is mentioned first, so that's our X. And then dollars saved is mentioned last, so that's our Y. Okay? So this is actually a table. It didn't show up real well, so let's see if we can fill it in just a wee bit. And then it went tink and across and across and across. So let's use a nice cheery pink. How about that? So Marcus makes, let's see, $10 each week. So $110 for the first week. For the second week, he had $20, so that's $220. And we've got $30 for the next week. That's $320. I'm sorry, $330. Hello. Sorry, I'm out of my chart here. I think I'll make it bigger the next time. And $40 by the fourth week, so 4 and 40. All right, and then let's go with David. So let's outline his chart a little bit better. I'm going to make it a little bigger this way from what I just witnessed. Okay. So David in the direction said he saves $15. So first week he has $15. Second week he has $30. So basically what this is called is a running total. Okay, what does he have by the end of the second week? And then third week he's going to have $45. $345, and then fourth week he's going to have $60, 4 and 60. Okay, next thing it's going to ask us to do is to compare by graphing them on the coordinate plane. So we're going to go ahead and do David. He's week 1, $10. Week 2, $20. Week 3, $30. Week 4, $40. Okay, so that's what his looks like. That's David. So then let's compare with, oh, sorry, that's not David, that's Marcus. My goodness. Try that again. So that's Marcus. Oh, sorry. Oy, oy, oy. Okay, let's get into David now. All right, so David is 1 and 15, 2 and 30, 3 and 45, and then 4 and 60. So that's David. And you can see already, David is so much steeper than Marcus. In fact, he's above every point of Marcus. So here's some things. I'm going to write it off to the side here. Is that David's savings increase at a higher rate, because you can see his graph is higher than the other one, than Marcus's savings. Okay, so a couple things to note. When we're doing this explanation, we're going to talk about increase goes along and pairs with the words higher rate. We can say both sets of points so just like in that single graph, points appear to form a line. Okay, or to form, let's change it and we'll just say to form lines. We've got a Marcus pink line and we've got a David blue line. Okay, and then how do we know that David's savings is at a higher rate? Well, look at his steepness, so we'll mention that. So the graph of David's savings is a steeper line than Marcus's. Okay, so again, all I've been doing is providing you with kind of a framework of how we could interpret what we see. All right, hope you understand. We'll review this tomorrow.